What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're on our final home stretch on the J swapped all-wheel drive CRX for SEMA this year. We literally have like 1 or 2 days left. Last episode we did the ambulance. We did a ton of work to that thing to be able to get it ready to be able to tow the vehicle out to SEMA, as well as the BMW, the V12 BMW over there. So we have 2 cars to bring, 1 tow rig. All of them are getting built for before SEMA. And we also have a ton of work we're gonna be doing on the CRX. So we have all the turbo system all laid out. We have to mock it up one last time in order to get all of our titanium ferrules that we talked about in the previous episode to be able to actually finish out the cold side of the intercooler piping. All of the ferrule clamps and everything like that are kind of missing because we didn't have them in the mail, but we finally got them in. And I was just adding O2 bungs to our downpipe here, so we're good on that. So when Adam comes back to do the wiring, we have a couple more things that we can button up. As you can see, we don't have any connection points on this intercooler piping, so that's a big plus. Gazelle's been working till 5 in the morning last night, putting the engine and transmission in. How much fun was this, dude?
It took a hot minute.
Now, you've been with Sam since day one. You've done all the builds with him, and that FC over in the corner is yours as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're wondering who owned that FC, guys. It's his. So you're gonna do a V12 in that thing eventually?
Gonna do a twin turbo V12, yeah.
Oh, it's simple, right?
Yeah.
Simple build. It seems like everyone around here does really simple things that are hanging out with Sam. I need to not allow this to rub off on myself.
It'll rub off.
So, quick rundown. What is this? This is not the mock-up dusty old engine that we had before. This looks a little bit spicier. So what do we got looking?
No, so it's a fully built motor from P2R. They did an OEM Honda block. They went ahead and did what they call like a VTec killer. It's gonna be spicy.
VTec killer?
Yeah.
So this thing does not have VTec, or
Nope.
it has all the VTec?
No, that's just gonna be all VTec.
Okay. So we got our adapter. We got, what kind of clutches in there now?
Clutch Masters.
Clutch Masters?
Triple disc.
Triple disc?
Yep.
So super easy to drive, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
And I see a drive shaft down there.
Yeah, that's gonna get done today. It's 3 pieces, that's one built.
Okay.
So it has a viscous coupler. So hopefully it helps with the all-wheel drive system.
And you got the front axles in, looks like.
Yep, front suspension, front axles went in last night. That's all fully tightened down. Yep.
So we're waiting on hardware for these little things that are missing.
Yep.
Doing all zinc plated hardware and everything, make it look all pretty. We got to put our motor mount in still, guys. But while we're waiting on that stuff, I'm gonna start mocking up the turbo system now so I can stay ahead of them, because there's a ton of work to do to this thing. We're also missing some wide body flares. I think the wide body,
They're done. Just got to pick them up today.
just gotta pick them up. Okay. So they're gonna be hitting this thing from all different corners. Last night, or actually yesterday, went ahead and did a titanium filler neck for the fuel system, which looks pretty cool. So we're gonna get working now. We're gonna throw the time lapse on this thing, get the turbo system back in, and start lining up on all our ferrules. Hopefully nothing moved. Sometimes when you do a bunch of pie cuts like this, you'll have some movement, some adjustment that you have to do, but I don't think it's gonna be that bad. So we're gonna go ahead and mock this up now, get everything in the car, then we're gonna break it down again, weld it, and then we'll be able to final assemble it. So let's get to it. All right, so I'm not surprised at all. We got some shrinkage on our Y pipe, as you can see. We got to connect the dots a little bit. So it looks like it's about a 1/2 inch, and that's all from this weld right here. We'll put a lot of heat in that. So ideally I would have mocked up the system on another engine, and I could have welded that, and then this would have stayed put. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut this flange off now, and then I'm gonna add a 1/2 inch spacer to be able to close that gap in. Once we get that done, then we can start putting all of our cold side in. Everything else looks good. I'm fine with all this as far as where it's hitting. It's not getting any hitting anywhere. It's clearing pretty much everywhere. So I'm not gonna mess with this one. I'm just gonna mess with this one. So we're gonna pull this out right now. We'll cut this off. We'll make a little spacer, get it fitted in there, clamped up, and then I'm gonna tack it in the car. We'll pull it out and then final weld it, put it back in, and then we'll be able to continue on the cold side, get the intercooler in, get all this piping mocked up. Yacel's gonna mock up this intake manifold for me so we have our throttle body placement, and then keep going on this thing. All right, so we've made our adjustments to our downpipe. Had to cut it right here and cut it right here, add a little jog. Our actual downpipe on the bottom is connected, so it goes to our side exhaust, so we know all the hot side is good to go. So now what we gotta do, we got our titanium ferrules on there. Now we're gonna connect the cold side. So radiator needs to go in, core support, and intercooler. Once we have all that buttoned up, then we need to start mocking up the cold side, and I'm gonna tack this all in place. We'll take it all apart, weld it, and then final fit it. All right guys, we got the hot side pretty much all dialed in. We had to make a couple adjustments on this one. I was a little worried about the headlight, but we got that cleared. We're coming around here, got everything tacked in. So everything on this side is pretty much all set. Yaziel pretty much got this all dialed in for me. So we're gonna go ahead and bolt this down, get the throttle body in place so we can get the cold side all situated. We have one more pipe over here. This one, if you guys remember in past episodes, was like a million different pie cuts. This one we gotta still put in, and we also gotta do our wastegate dump for the rear of the engine, but one thing at a time. So for right now, we're gonna go ahead and take all this apart. We're gonna weld all these connections here. Everything's fitting really nice. I'm pretty happy with it. And then after we have that all situated, we're gonna go ahead and put that back on the car and start working our way around this side. Bangs and pops. All right guys, today is officially, I think, the last day to fabricate on the CRX. Mocked everything up, got all the titanium done. The guys were cranking on the lines, got all the oil lines done, they got the O2 sensors in. Looks like they're making progress on the coolant system. Everything is all buttoning up. So the last piece of this puzzle is the rear wastegate dump. The front one is this little tiny stubby guy down there. See the wastegate? The rear one, I didn't finish because of, I can't remember what it was. I think timing. It had to go to the paint shop, so I just had no choice but to do it later. So this is the rear wastegate dump, significantly longer guy. So we're gonna pull the rear bank off. I'm gonna pull this turbo out and loosen the header and slide that dump in there. And then I can tighten the header back up, maybe bolt the turbo back on, but I don't think I need the turbo in order to figure out this wastegate dump situation. Should have listened to my gut, dude.
What's that?
Freaking motor is tilted this way like a whole 1.5 inches without that rear motor mounted. Oh. Yep. Hopefully all is not lost, and it helps. All right, guys, we are so close to this turbo kit being done. We have to make some adjustments because when I went to do the rear wastegate dump, as you can see, we have some cardboard there on the firewall. I have to make a little brace, but the rear motor mount wasn't in, so the engine was tilted back a little bit. So we went in and pivoted it forward, which created a little bit of a gap down here, which I'm gonna have to add a little bit of it length. But once that's done, we're gonna be able to finally put the O-rings in the cold side of the intercooler piping and get all of that buttoned up. As far as the hot side goes, we went ahead and, what are these things called, Giselle?
Exhaust lock.
These like really cool lock things that stop the exhaust bolts from backing out. So as you can see, we got gaskets in there. The headers are completely installed. All the V-bands are tight. The wastegates are in. We got our oil lines, got our fuel lines. Everything is pretty much there, guys. We're just waiting for some wiring to finish out the intake manifold. But for right now, I wanted to get the whole turbo system done this episode so you guys can see this whole thing in all of its glory. So right now, I'm gonna go ahead and make some adjustments to this intercooler pipe here. This guy needs some adjustment. We're gonna finish putting the back housing clamps on our turbine compressors, and then we're gonna be able to finalize these lines and be able to get this whole thing pretty much in the car. So we have like a day left, maybe two, to continue to work on this thing before Adam gets here. He's gonna be doing the wiring and getting it started and doing this tomorrow? Tomorrow.
Yeah, this will be done, wrapped up today.
Okay.
Ready for him.
So, no pressure. We're gonna go ahead and get that off now. We're gonna make some cuts, modify that, get that finalized, and then work our way over here, get this all set, and then hopefully we'll be able to be all ready for the wiring for tomorrow. All right, guys, last time we saw the car, we were finalizing the turbo kit as far as the hot side goes, and I left because I did not want to continue working, but Giselle stayed here all night, and look at this thing, all together. So what did you guys do last night? You didn't sleep at all, did you?
The last 3 days is very minimal sleep.
Very minimal sleep, so the SEMA crunch is real.
No, just pretty much go over every nut and bolt, make sure everything's tight and to standards and tight.
I see wires connected to things.
Yep, everything's wired up right now. Adam's finishing up a couple of connectors.
Hey Adam, you having fun?
Hi people, yeah, I'm having a great time.
A lot of fun. Yeah, last time we saw Adam, he was in the BMW trying to get that thing running. Now he's in the CRX.
Yeah. Well,
so was there any pitfalls or hurdles last night? I remember you telling me that I didn't weld a bunch of that stuff.
No.
So the coolant system's looking like it's all done. Everything's done. You got fluid in here?
Fluids in the motor, coolant, engine oil, fuel. Yeah, it's pretty good.
This is awesome. I was just admiring these little carbon fiber bracket that's for the transmission harness.
Yeah.
Oh boy. You got all these anodized hardware. Everything's on. Everything's installed like completely. It's all done.
Yes. Yep.
So what else is left?
Right
outside
now,
of just firing this thing up?
Finish a couple pins, get it fired up, and then got to make one more bracket for the drive shaft to hold that up, and then throw some wheels on and get it on the ground.
So you guys got a little bit of the Y-body kit on.
Yeah, waiting on some longer hardware to finish up, but for the most part.
It's significantly wider. I think the car might be wider than it is long. What do you think? It's like an F1 wheel.
Square.
All right, well, hopefully we can get a start up for you guys and see what this thing sounds like. I have a feeling it's gonna sound pretty amazing. What do you have going on in there?
Oh, I'm changing some wiring because they changed crank and cam sensors on me.
Oh, so you're switching them around?
Yeah.
Sweet. And then we got seats to go in, a little bit of aero parts,
Yeah.
some tail lights,
I'm gonna be going to the tail lights tonight.
another all-nighter. You on a chiropractor after this?
No, not Booyah.
We're almost there.
Almost there.
We're almost there. So it is literally the 2nd of November.
Mm-hmm.
And SEMA is on the 4th?
Yeah, we were supposed to leave like 2 days ago.
2 days ago. Okay. So what you got left on the CRX, Sam?
Just kind of final details. Gotta get the seats in, gotta get the door panels in. What else? Front bumper.
Front bumper needs to go on.
Got a little bit of wiring.
Spacers.
Yeah,
I see a big old wing on the back of this car from here.
big wing gang.
Big wing gang, yeah. Are you expecting to drive this thing into SEMA?
That's the plan.
That's the plan, right?
Yeah, we pretty much called it a couple days ago. We said we're not going to SEMA. Way too much stuff happened. We had the trailer break, bringing it back from the alignment shop, smashed into the back of the SUV, and then we had a little wiring issue, a little wiring mishap. So at that point, we're like, we're done. We're done. And then next day, we got a second wind, and yeah, we're gonna make it happen.
Yeah, to be fair, I came in one morning and Sam had that million-mile stare, and he was like, I'm done. I'm over it. Can't happen. I was like, okay, all right. I let it alone. Didn't say anything about it, but you got some sleep, thought about it.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got a lot of hard work in this thing, and it doesn't make sense just to call it just because mishaps and other people drop the ball. So
when you're building these cars, guys, and you're doing 72-hour stints after 70, just going, your nerves are completely shot. So what's left before you have to leave tomorrow morning?
Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning. So you're just gonna button up some wiring, get the intake manifold back on, plug everything back in, maybe do a little base map, and then
yeah, then that's it. Load everything up. So I got a little bit of work on the Z4 today, and then we're pretty much there.
All right, so last little bit of information, guys. Where can people find you at SEMA this year?
We're going to be in the Toyo Tread Pass. So CRX will be in Toyo. The Z4 will be with SEMA HRIA.
Okay.
We'll be right outside the Toyo Tread Pass, so we'll be able to see both cars from each other.
So if you guys aren't familiar with Tread Pass, it's outside the central hall. So all the way to the back, take a right, and the Tread Pass is where all the action is between the central hall and the tire hall, where all the wheels and tires are, that no one goes. I think people just go there to go to the bathroom. I think it's the North Hall. Anyway, you guys can look it up online. So if you're going to SEMA in the flesh, come by, say hello to Sam, see the car. I will not be there, but the rest of the guys from Guichu will be there. So hope you like the episode. Hope you like the content. Make sure you comment below and hit the subscribe button. And we'll see you all.
Yeah, see you next week.
Yeah, see you next week. All right, bye.